The Bhagavad Gita is an ancient textbook that explains the Vedanta philosophy, a philosophy which contains these eternal principles of living. And what happens when you gain this knowledge? Your mind within becomes peaceful. And when you're peaceful, your intellect becomes clear. You gain clarity in your thinking, in your decision making. And with a clear intellect and a peaceful mind, you can focus, concentrate on what you do. So you become very efficient and therefore successful in your field of action. So you're peaceful within, you're clear in your thinking, and you are successful in life. But above all, the Gita and Vedanta give you that vision of your mission and purpose in life, which is to realize yourself. That's your goal, your purpose, the reason you're here. Because once you get that, you attain that highest state of absolute happiness, total fulfillment. So you benefit in your day-to-day life as well as move towards your mission and purpose. Now, what else do you want? The Gita is a conversation between the warrior prince Arjuna and an enlightened soul, Lord Krishna, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Now, this setting itself is deeply symbolic. So, Arjuna represents each one of us. He was a prince, he was highly educated, successful, but he didn't have this knowledge. With the result, when he went on the battlefield, when he got into this challenge, he became emotional. He lost his clarity of thinking completely and he couldn't act. This is the first chapter. So the battlefield represents these various challenges which each one of us will inevitably face or is facing in life. So what does this mean for us? If you don't have this knowledge, you could be successful, you could be highly educated, but you are totally unprepared for life. So sooner or later you succumb to this stress and strain, trials and tribulations. So everybody, it's just a question of less or more. It could be your work, it could be your health, it could be your money, relationships, spouse or children. Somewhere or the other you feel stressed, unfulfilled, unprepared, agitated. And the worst thing is, in and through this involvement and agitation in life, you lose sight of why you're really here. What is your true mission and purpose as a human being? So friends, you need this knowledge. Like you need oxygen to breathe, water and food, you need the knowledge of life. It's absolutely essential. And what is the effect of this great knowledge of the Gita? See, chapter 1 is titled Arjuna Vishada Yoga, right? The yoga of Arjuna's sorrow, despondency. So in the beginning, Arjuna, who's the student in the Gita, is totally agitated. He can't think clearly. He can't act. He's physically incapable of acting. And then the message is given over the next 17 chapters. And towards the end of the 18th chapter, what does Arjuna say? Famous verse. Nashto moha smriti labdva tvat prasadan mayachyuta. So he says, Nashto moha means my delusion is gone. Smriti labdva, my thinking has come back to me by your grace, means with this knowledge. Sthitosmi gata sandeha. I am firm. Gata sandeha means there is no doubt. I will do what ought to be done. So this is what happens. You regain your clarity. You're clear. You know what ought to be done. You're peaceful. And you act properly in the world. So this is what happens when you gain this knowledge. In fact, what happens when you gain and apply this knowledge is given in the last verse of the Gita, which is the 18th chapter, 78th verse. So he says, where there is an enlightened teacher like Krishna, meaning where there is this knowledge of Vedanta, and where there is an archer like Arjuna. Interesting. He uses the word archer there to say where there is a dynamic, committed student who wants to learn. So he says, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara. Tatra, there is Shri, prosperity, Vijaya, success, Dhruva Niti, clear thinking, and Bhuti, glory. That's the last verse of the Gita. So he says, where there is this combination of Vedanta and a dynamic student who's active, there you find this peace, you find clarity of thought, you find clear, reasoned thinking, peaceful mind, efficient action, and above all, Bhuti. You find that spiritual evolution, that complete fulfillment. So friends, the Gita is a philosophy meant for all of us living in this world. Not a select few people in the jungle who've given up everything. That's the common misconception. And unfortunately, people have denied themselves this great knowledge because of this misconception. So you should not make that mistake. You've got to get the knowledge. But the central message of the Gita, the essential core of the teaching, is that true happiness lies within yourself, not in the external world. This you have to understand. So Arthur Schopenhauer, he says, it is difficult to find happiness within oneself, but it is impossible to find it anywhere else. He had read the Gita, Arthur Schopenhauer, one of the earliest people in the West who read it in Germany. So as you gain this knowledge of the Gita, of the Vedanta philosophy, the beauty is you get commensurate peace and happiness within. You don't have to wait till you reach enlightenment. That is the absolute happiness. So in the 5th chapter of the Gita, he says that Bahya sparsheshva sattatma vindat yatmani yat sukham. Unattached to external contacts, one finds the happiness within oneself. This is stage 1. And the second part of the verse, he says, Sa Brahma Yoga Yuktatma Sukham Akshayam Ashnute. And when you reach enlightenment, the state of Brahman, you get that infinite bliss. Sukham Akshayam. So, you gain happiness within until you hit the absolute. You have to get that. You cannot get the happiness from the blind pursuit of the external world. you'll only gain sorrow and suffering in life. So it's your choice. As Swamiji often says, you make yourself, you mar yourself. It's your choice. Nobody else is responsible but you. So this is the general overview of what the Gita is.